Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
Hello, I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
I'm Logan.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fun and awesome episode of Youth Connect. I hope you are excited for a ton of awesome news. But obviously, we should always go over our intro. What in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. Everyone here is advocates of all abilities, and as broadcasters, entertainers, you know what? We want to be included in opportunities for acting, directing, writing, maybe even as chefs, speakers, and musicians. You know what? You name it, and we want to do it. And one of the main things that we love doing is sharing our news on Youth Connect. And I think that Youth Connect is going to be a show that you are going to love. Now, I will be warning everyone in advance so that we can process in our brains. We will not be having Nibras this week. So do be warned, we will not be having any entertainment or podcast news. But you know what? We got tons of awesome other stuff. Like, for example, first up is some gaming news. That song is so good. Anyways, if you guys know, we always have to do our spotlight game of the week. Now, what in the world does that mean? It means that it's either a game that is going to be releasing very, very soon, a game that has been released, or a game that is an old classic. But what is today's spotlight game of the week? Well, I actually got this, or technically I got the suggestion from my father. And today's spotlight game of the week is Final Fantasy 16. Now, what in the world is going on in Final Fantasy 16? Let me just say this, guys. There's 16 games that are all Final Fantasy related. 16 games. That's quite a bit. And what's going on here? I got the story for you. So, guys, the sun is setting upon the land of Valisthea. I think that's how you say it. For centuries, people have flocked to their mother crystals to partake of their blessing, the abundant ether that fuels the magics they rely upon in their everyday lives. But as the aether begins to fade and the lifeless deadlands spread even further, so too does the struggle for possession of the final flickers of the mother's light grow ever more fierce. Yet amidst the gathering storm, there are those who believe that the legacy of the crystals has shaped mankind's destiny for long enough. So this game is all about trying to find the mother crystals. And if I remember correctly, my Final Fantasy knowledge, it's those giant floating crystals. Sometimes they're red, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they are a little bit yellow, and it's quite interesting to learn about him. I, on the other hand, am not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy. Kind of lost me on Final Fantasy 7, but you know what? My father is absolutely looking forward towards this demo. He says that he's going to be playing it as soon as Youth Connect is done. And you know what? I've heard that the graphics are absolutely spectacular. And sorry, PC fans and Switch fans and Xbox fans, you will not be able to get this game, and it will be only exclusively played on the PS5. So if you do have some time, like an hour or two, or actually I heard it was like 3 hours of gameplay, or 3 to 6 hours for a demo. If you have some time, play Final Fantasy 16. If you like Final Fantasy, I mean, obviously you probably have already bought it. But if you haven't and you want to try an RPG game out, check it out. It is a little bit darker, let me remind you guys, but it's still really cool to check out. It will be releasing June the 22nd. So, I mean, it's only 4 days away. 4 days? No, that's not right. Technically 6 days. So, yeah, 6 days to try out the demo and probably transfer your save data to the full game. But this has been my first gaming news, and next up we have Kevin with some all-important news and, of course, your very interesting fact of the day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect with me, Kevin Aruja. For now, let's go over to the headlines. Some Toronto pools will not open on time for opening day tomorrow. The city said outside-the-box transit plans are conceptual only. Mayoral candidates for second place as Olivia Chow maintains lead. And Canadian men blank Panama to move into uh, CONCACAF Nations League final in Las Vegas. One Toronto pool will not open for the 2023 season, and two will be delayed to do state of good repair work by the city. Donald T. Somerville Olympic Pools on Lakeshore Boulevard East will remain closed for the 2023 season due to significant repairs needed for the facility's aging infrastructure. While the 25-meter pool has been fully refurbished, the city has decided to keep the entire facility closed for the summer, as the building remains a construction site that is currently unsafe for public use once the necessary work has been successfully completed. The complex will have undergone more than $3.5 million of work to extend the life of the facility for another 20 years, including new pool liners at all three tanks in a full deck replacement. All other Toronto pools are scheduled to open for the season on Saturday. If you've ever been stuck in bumper to bumper traffic, the thought of flying high above the cars and buses in front of you beat the brush has probably crossed your mind. While the concept may feel out of reach, it's one of a few very real ideas floated by the city of Vaughan, Ontario, to address its growing population and resulting traffic congestion problem. In a white paper proposal prepared by Washington-based Silver Engineer Company, the SCJ Alliance for the City North of Toronto, a gondola system was explored as one way to cut travel time significantly. As such, the recently approved 2023 Vaughan Transportation Plan included an exploratory study on the viability of aerial mobility transit to move people to and from its biggest draws, Canada's Wonderland, Vaughan Mills Shopping Centre, Cartolucci Vaughan Hospital, and Vaughan Metropolitan Centre, all of which would have their own stations. Currently, the 6.2 kilometers distance between the city's downtown core and the hospital would take you to 10 to 30 minutes in a car and 35 to 40 minutes by transit, according to SCJ. In a gondola, that travel time between the same two locations is cut to just 15 minutes, the the, the engineering firm claims. The four Toronto mayoral candidates are battling to be the frontrunner Olivia Chow's runners-up. A new poll from Main Street Research has been revealed. As of today, which is Friday, if the elections were held today, 31% of decided voters would vote for Chow. Meanwhile, four runners-up polling similarly and within the poll's margin of error with Anna Balao at 14%, Mark Saunders at 13%, Josh Mallow at 12%, and Anthony Ferry at 11%. Mitzi Hunter, Chloe Brown, and Brad Bradford have each held on to 6%, 5%, and 4%, respectively. Main Street Research conducted this poll on Thursday with a sample size of 899 adults in Toronto. Respondents were interviewed over the phone. The margins of error for the poll is plus or minus 3.3% and the 95% confidence level. These results followed a heated debate between seven of the election's frontrunners on Thursday night. The former of the final televised debate before Election Day saw candidates face off various topics one-on-one before the floor was open to wider debate on each questions. In sports news, goals by Jonathan David and Alfonso Davies moved the Canadian men to within one of their first trophy in 23 years with a 2-0 victory on Thursday over Panama in CONCACAF Nations League semifinal play. Canada, which is ranked 47 in the world, will play either the 13th ranked US or number 15 Mexico in Sunday's final with the winner's purse of some US $1 million on the line. The Canadians are looking for their first trophy since lifting the CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2000. David put Canada ahead in the 25th minute thanks to a perfect pass for Kamal Miller that sliced open in the Panama defense. David saw the opening and pointed to where he wanted the ball as he ran towards space. Miller delivered the ball arrived on David's feet, not missing a stride. The Lily striker cold slotted it between Panama goalkeeper Orlando Mosquera's legs for the 25th goal in the 41 Canada matches. The Americas won the first edition of the CONCACAF Nations League in 2021, defeating Mexico with score of 3-2 on Christian Pulisic penalty in extra time in Denver. Honduras was third and Costa Rica was fourth. Canada missed out on an inaugural Final Four, finishing running up to the US and its group on goal difference. In today's weather forecast, we've got a chance of a shower this afternoon. The temperature is now 20 degrees. And tomorrow we will get sunny and the temperature will be 24 degrees. So now, an interesting fact of the week. Guess what this is on a pancake? Yeah, you guessed it. That's maple syrup. That's the reason why they were created. It's called maple tree. So now, I want to talk about maple tree. But what is maple tree? Although the maple leaf is closely associated with Canada, the maple tree was not officially recognized as Canada's arboreal emblem until 1996. Maple trees are beautiful, symmetrical, nah, I would say delicious trees. They are found throughout the United States and in Canada and Japan. They have been grown around the world on the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe. It is maple trees that give us a breakfast necessity. The maple syrup for our pancakes and waffles, the tree's leaves change into fabulous shades of red, orange, and yellow in autumn. And now for the facts about maple tree. Sugar, black, and red maples are the trees that are important for maple syrup production. In a balanced, healthy, productive sugar bush, an ideal number of maples would be approximately 70% acre. Maple trees can live to 200 years and beyond that have been tapped for 150 years or more. So that is all we come from the end of my. This is it for my segment for tuning for news, weather, and interesting fact. And I'm sending you back to Aiden. See you next Friday.
Okay, guys. So I just want to say something absolutely shocking about maple trees. So as you heard, there's only 3 species of maple tree that can actually produce maple syrup, or that we know can produce maple syrup. And did you guys know that it takes up to 40 gallons to make only 1 gallon of maple syrup? That's quite a bit. And one tree only makes 15 gallons per year. That means you would have to have 3 trees to technically get 1 gallon of syrup. That is a lot of trees to make just a simple amount of syrup. My goodness. So that means one tree accumulates to like just 1 bottle. And honestly, that's a little bit shocking to hear, but interesting to know about. Now, I will ask everybody else that's here. So you, Joshua, and of course, you, Jeff, and you, Logan. What did you guys think of Kevin's news?
Oh, very interesting.
Do you guys love maple syrup? Because I love maple syrup.
I absolutely love maple syrup.
Maple syrup's absolutely delicious.
I do too.
Nice. It's definitely delicious to have on a delicious pancake, or you know what, just to have on the side. Sometimes I might even drink it. Don't tell anybody. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's always great to hear about all of your news, but I absolutely love your interesting fact of the day. But it is time to move on to our second gaming news, and now it's time to move on to something quite interesting, because honestly, I think it's quite a risk-taking move that I've been seeing. So guys, when you're working with a character whose legacy is as long as Mickey Mouse's, there's a lot of history to move around and mess with. But the House of Mouse, as they're called, was willing to play ball on its studio's ideas for a cooperative take on a Metroidvania-style game. So I want to talk to you about Disney Illusion Island, technically. It's Disney's Illusion Island. And what is the story? Well, it follows Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, the 4 classic characters, through the world of Monoth, which is in a state of disarray after the theft of 3 magical tomes. Never one to turn down a chance to help others, because that's what Mickey Mouse does. Mickey and his company head out on an adventure which takes the form of a combatless cooperative side-scroller complete with Metroidvania-style backtracking and ability unlocks that fill out the map. So, guys, there's no fighting. There's no fighting in this Mickey Mouse game. There might be a little bit of puzzle solving to defeat a boss, but there's no like hack and slash fighting beat 'em up kind of side scroller like Mario. So, guys, from a design standpoint, you know what? It looks absolutely amazing. And just from looking at the art, you can see influences like modern side-scrolling touchstones, Rayman Legends, and Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, I bet you're wondering, Aiden, why am I talking about this? What happens if this is a mindless licensed cash-in that they're just getting for some extra money? Well, apparently, instead, it offers a great deal of tight feeling platforming and cooperative play opportunities, and of course, gorgeous animation inspired from Mickey's modern animated series, The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. And I absolutely love that series because it's a modern take of Mickey Mouse, which has some modern jokes here and there, which is always great to see. And it's kind of funny. Now, apparently, the info is to be determined, so you won't be able to see too much about it. But you can see a trailer on the Nintendo YouTube page. I say that you check it out because it's using all the original voices, so don't worry, you're not going to get some knockoff Goofy or knockoff Mickey. You're getting the voices. But it looks actually really fun, and if it is really good, like obviously I'll be watching the development of it, and if the development's really good, I'm definitely going to be getting this because it's a co-op game, guys. A co-op, non-fighting co-op game, which is great. Anyways, though, this has been my second gaming news, and next up we have Joshua. What is he going to be bringing us? He's going to be bringing us some good story news, and of course your very favorite animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Connect Now for Good News Story. 4 Colombian children from an indigenous community who survived a plane crash have been found alive after being lost 5 weeks in the jungle. GNN News reported 2 weeks ago about the plight of 4 Colombian children who miraculously survived a plane crash that killed all 3 adults on board. At the time, rescuers were hot on their trail, and unconfirmed reports said they might have been found deep in the Guaviare province, but now the military rescue squad, who had found cast-away items they were using to survive, finally managed to locate the youths and bring them home after a scary 5 weeks in the jungle. Sounding like the beginning of a young adult novel series, the crash took place on May 1st en route between the cities in Amazonas and Guaviare provinces. It took 2 weeks for Colombian military and rescue units to locate the crashed Cessna 206 light aircraft. The units followed a trail of castaway items, including a baby bottle, scissors, and plastic wrapping, to several areas where the children aged 13, 9, and 4, along with a monthly-old baby, sheltered and found food to eat. Narciso, the grandfather of 3 girls and 1 boy, told reporters he was delighted at the news of their rescue. A joy for the whole country. Colombia's president Gustavo Petro said in a message via Twitter, the children had some knowledge for where to look for food and shelter for their indigenous backgrounds. Now for another good news story. A Missouri middle schooler was so determined to make it to his graduation, he ended up walking 6 miles, losing out an opportunity to get a ride to his school graduation. 8th grader Xavier Jones asked his friends and brother to walk along with him, reminding something a mentor at Yetman Middle School had told him. If I wanted it, I got to go get it, Jones told Fox News. Remembering the advice, together the young men walked over 10,000 steps and 2.5 hours through St. Louis to arrive at the school. As it happened, when the 4-year-old arrived at the graduation, the one who gave that advice, his mentor Darren Seals, was speaking at the ceremony. Hearing one of the students had walked 2 hours to be there, he paused to inform the audience and encouraged a standing ovation for him. Also, as it happened, the president of Barstow State University, Dr. Latonia Collins Smith, was in attendance that day and was moved by the perseverance and determination shown by young Mr. Jones. She decided to offer him a ride to college, although considering the circumstances, this terminology confused Xavier Jones. Larry Smith offered the young man presidential scholarship complete with tuition and money for 4 years of attendance, including rent and textbooks. That's not the end of the story. However, because over the weekend, it came out that Miami Dolphins NFL player Tyron Emerson, who grew up in a similar part of town to Xavier, had bought a minivan and an electric bike for Xavier's family to ensure transportation options are no longer a problem. Moved by Xavier's story, the NFL star said he was happy to step in and offer help to a boy who had lost his mother some years ago and who was being raised by his grandfather. It's humbling, it's motivating, it's inspiring. NFL player Armstead said of Xavier Jones. The story is a reminder to young people that even the most straightforward demonstrations of commitment are valuable and that the journey of 1,000 miles really does begin with one step, though in this case, perhaps around 10,000. Now turn to annual interest news. Conservationists are celebrating the birth of one of the world's most endangered primates at the UK Zoo. The rare Sulawesi crested macaque was born on May 16 at the Chester Zoo to proud new mom Ripple and dad Mama Sa. Adorable photographs to show the new arrival clinging on its mother as it made its first outside appearance at its enclosure at the UK's largest and most visited zoo. The species is listed as critical endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, and fewer than 5,000 remain in their natural habitat on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. Though the adults' faces are jet black, the babies are born with a buckskin leather tone, and that highlights their beautiful eyes. Sulawesi created macaques are highly sociable animals that live in large groups, and so the new baby is currently being passed around by mom Rupel to several other females who are all sharing parenting duties, which is a great to see, explained Mark Bradshaw, head of mammals at the zoo. Every bird is a step forward for the International Conservation Breeding Program that's working to safeguard the future of this critically endangered species. It also provides an opportunity to learn more about their behavior, biology, and social structures, which all help to inform the efforts to protect the species globally. Sulawesi is the 11th largest island at about 70,000 square miles and is located east of Borneo. Borneo is 62%, which is about 79 species of the mammals on the island are endemic, meaning that they are found nowhere else in the world. This is Josh's show reporting for you Connect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
Can I just say that your second good story news is absolutely mind blowing, guys? 6 miles is quite a long way to walk. Now, I don't know in kilometers, but I know that 1 mile is usually, you know what? I'm not going to go into details, but 6 miles, guys. If you're talking about that, I think it's like 2 hours worth of walking. That's a lot of walking. Imagine walking 2 hours to get to your graduation. Talk about dedication. My goodness. Now, I absolutely love that story, but I also loved how an NFL star, helped the student by giving him, ways of transportation, so he didn't have to walk another 6 miles to get to his next thing that he's going to do in his life. And that kid is probably going to go lots of places because it clearly shows he has the endurance to keep on going. Now, I will be asking everyone else, what did you guys think of Joshua's news? Was it interesting? Was it fun? Was it mind-blowing? Because it definitely was mind-blowing for me.
I actually like the graduation part. That was also inspiring.
I agree, because
Yeah.
that is a long time to walk. Now, I will look this up real quick. Wait, what's up, Jeff?
I like the monkey part, the monkey segment too. That was
I
cute.
know, it was absolutely adorable. You know what? And it's one of the most endangered animals. So thank goodness that they're repopulating the species. So phew. Also, I looked it up, guys. 6 miles is 9 kilometers, and that is quite a long distance. My goodness. So thank you so much, Joshua, for your amazing good story news. And I should say technically it should be inspirational story news, because that is definitely something that makes me want to be like, you know what, you go, woo! I feel inspired. Maybe I'll go for a run. Probably not, because you know what, a run, I can't walk more than 2 minutes before I start getting out of breath. But it's time to move on to our third news. What is going on in the news? Well, we got something quite interesting. We got a board game of the week. Now, what is board game of the week? It's similar to video game of the week, but it's a board game. So it's going to be something a little bit interesting. What is today's board game of the week? Well, today's board game of the week is called A Feast for Odin. Now, A Feast for Odin is a saga in the form of a board game. You are reliving the cultural achievements, mercantile expeditions, and pillages of those tribes we know as Vikings today, a term that was used quite differently towards the end of the first millennium. So, what happens? When the Northerners went out for a raid, they used to say that they headed out for a Viking. Their Scandinavian ancestors, however, were much more than just pirates. They were explorers and founders of states. Leif Erikson is said to be the first European in America long before Columbus. So it's quite awesome to see some of the history in there as well. And in what is known today as Normandy, the intruders were not called Vikings, but Normans. And one of them is the famous William the Conqueror, who invaded England in 1066. He managed to do what the King of Norway failed to do only a few years prior, which is to conquer the throne of England. And the reason why the people of these times became such strong seafarers is due to their unfortunate agricultural situation. Now, crop shortfalls caused great distress for them. So, guys, in this game, you are going to be raiding and exploring new territories. You will also experience their day-to-day activities, from collecting goods to achieve a financially secure position in society. And in the end of it all, the player whose possessions bear the greatest value will be declared the winner. Now, let me be honest here, guys. The term Viking is a term that is used a little bit negative, but can also be used in the way of history. And this is what this board game aims to do, to talk about they were also not just pirates of that time. They were explorers. They explored everywhere, and they kind of were they found the first Leif Erikson was the first European to set foot in America, so that's quite amazing. So they did a lot of stuff. So having a board game that is all about this kind of like Scandinavian ancestor kind of board game is good, because you know what, it kind of breaks the stigma breaks the stigma of, Vikings are pirates. More, Vikings are explorers of the world. Obviously, they did do some pillaging here and there. We won't ignore that, because it is part of history. But it's still cool to see a board game built off of the Scandinavian ancestral history, in a way. A little bit interesting, guys. I don't know if I'll be checking out this board game, but if you ever want to try out being a Viking, then check out the board game A Feast for Odin. Anyways, though, next up, I would say, is going to be Nibras, but we don't have him here. So who's up next? It's going to be someone super cool. Who is it? It's Logan, our chef extraordinaire.
Hi, I'm Logan, and so welcome to my cooking segment. So we are getting well into the summer month, and it's a nice temperature for grilling. But whenever there's grilling, there will always be those two people who argue over which type of grill is better, charcoal or gas. And so today, what I thought I'd do is I'd go over the advantages of both and allow you, as the viewers, to form your own thoughts and opinions. So first off, I'd like to talk about the charcoal grill. You can see here from this picture that it's a fairly simple mechanism. It's basically just a big bowl, and underneath that bowl, it's filled with charcoal that's ignited. And so you place the grate on top, the heat from the charcoal will heat up the grate, and use that to cook food. So, as for the advantages of a charcoal grill over a gas grill, it can get much, much hotter. A charcoal can burn up to 700 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas a gas grill only manages around 600 when cranked up to its highest temperature. There are some gas grills that can get a little bit hotter, but those are usually the more expensive kinds. And so the next advantage of a charcoal grill would be the smoky flavor that it brings. Now, personally, this is more of a personal preference, but I do like the smoky flavor of charcoal grilling. I understand that some people, it could be a turnoff to them, but to others, it is a huge advantage of using a charcoal grill. And so the next advantage is its price. A typical charcoal grill will go for about $150, whereas a typical gas grill goes around $300. And in fact, there are some smaller charcoal grills that can go for as little as $50. And that brings me over to its next advantage, which is that charcoal grills are much more portable. And so they're excellent choices for tailgating, whether you're going to a picnic, going to visit a little cottage, or going camping. Charcoal will be better than gas in that case. And so next up, I'd like to talk a little more about the gas grill, as pictured here. You can see that it's a lot more bigger and a lot more complex than a charcoal grill. You can see the grate over here, and then underneath here is where you would store the gas tanks. Typically, the gas you use for these grills are either propane or natural gas. And so they're fed through tubes, and they're essentially blown out of jets and ignited, producing fire, and that fire will heat up the grates. And so the advantages of a gas grill over a charcoal grill would include they are much healthier for both you and for both the environment. Unlike charcoal, which produces a lot of smoke, propane and natural gas are both very clean burning fuels. So there is very little health risk to eating food that is cooked on a gas grill. Compare that to charcoal, where it produces a lot of smoke, and smoke has a lot of carcinogens, which are very bad for your health. Now, the risk of actually getting something like cancer or lung disease from food cooked in the charcoal grill is very minimal, and it's usually only for either children or very able-bodied people. But still, the risk is there, and the gas grill will help prevent it. The next advantage of a gas grill is that it has much better temperature control. Bringing up the pictures again, you can see that there are these dials, and these dials will adjust the size of the flame, and that allows the cook to better control the temperature of the food. Unlike with a charcoal grill, where you either have to push around the coals, or you have to move around the food to prevent it from burning or being undercooked, a gas grill is much more easier to manage. The next advantage of a gas grill is that its fuel is much cheaper and much lighter. While a charcoal grill might be on its own cheaper to buy, its fuel is certainly more expensive, and it's also a lot heavier. A big bag of charcoal will weigh a lot more than just some canisters of gas. The final advantage of a gas grill is that it's much easier to clean. So first, I'd like to get into what you use to clean grills, and you use this. This is called a grill brush, and so you can see on the end here, there's this metal thing that's used to scrape off bits of burnt food after grilling. And so after those are knocked off the grill grates, you then use this, which is a brush composed of very hard wires, and that will scrape off the finer pieces. And so on a gas grill, that's all the cleanup necessary. But for a charcoal grill, you'll have to dispose of the charcoal after you're done grilling. And so you have to wait for it to grill. You have to wait for the charcoal to cool down, and then you have to dispose of it. And you can't just really dispose of it anywhere, so that's another headache. And either way, a gas grill is just much easier to clean. So in the end, what type of grill you choose will really just depend on what you consider more important for a grill. Do you like one that's cheaper, that's hotter, that produces a smoky flavor? Then a charcoal grill would be a much more suitable choice. But if you want better temperature control and you want a healthier food product that's less likely to pose any health risks, then a gas grill would be much better. But overall, it's your personal choice what you think would be better. So back to you, Aiden, and happy grilling.
I absolutely love that. You know what? It was the difference between gas and a little bit of charcoal. If I'm being brutally honest with you, I think that charcoal wins in the end of it all. I've heard, though, my mom always teaches me this, you should always use an onion to clean any kind of stove, but specifically our gas stove, we use an onion to clean the metal. So it becomes, so obviously the meat or whatever's stuck on it gets cleaned off because of the high heat. But guys, this is it. You can get ready for an amazing barbecue. And Logan taught you a little bit between the difference of a gas stove and a charcoal-based, well, technically a charcoal-based barbecue, I should say. So I think I might need to make a barbecue, or I might even go into the smoking section of the delicious kinds of cooking or delicious kinds of ways you can cook food. Absolutely amazing, Logan. And we have one final person. Oh, what? Who is it? It has to be Jeffrey with his live music.
Hello, everyone. I hope I know all of you guys are ready to have a great dance party, and I'm gonna be performing an original song. It was created by Aiden and myself, and it's called "We Are Superability Crew." So get ready to dance. Inspired. Try to find someone to hire. Need a person to speak. Maybe in a few weeks. A photographer, an artist, a broadcaster too. We have some every occasion. All you do. Need bracelets to look pretty. Have someone to sing a ditty. Musician for hire, you'll be surely inspired. And so much more to explore. Powers of glory, the possibility endless. Can't you see? Stand together in victory. We are a superability crew. We are a superability crew. Maybe need someone for pictures to take you on a photography tour. Maybe you want someone to pay you a mystical view of something new. Or perhaps you want to see yourself in another angel. Computers are the key. It's technology all up to you. It's technically all up to you. Stand together in victory. We are a superability crew. Stand together in victory. We are a super ability crew. They love us, yes, they are here. God is too. You have every right. You could even have someone to tell you the news you choose. Possibilities endless, can you see? Stand together in victory. We are a super ability crew. We are a super ability crew. You can be inspired, perhaps on someone's higher. You're a person to speak, maybe in a few weeks. A photographer, an artist, a broadcaster too. We have someone every occasion, all you do. Need bracelets to look pretty, perhaps someone to sing a little ditty. Musicians for hire, you'll be sure to be inspired. So much more to explore, puzzles of glory. Maybe you need someone to take pictures, take you on a photography tour. Or maybe you need someone to pay you a mystical view with something to do. Or perhaps you want to see yourself in another angel. Computers are the key. It's technology, all you see. Stand together in victory. We are a super ability crew. We are a super ability crew. The lovers, they are here, God is too. You could have someone tell you the news you choose. Possibilities endless, can't you see? Stand together in victory. We are super ability crew. Stand together in victory. We are super ability crew. We are super ability crew. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. I'll see you all next time. And make sure to check out my website, jeffreyinkerman.com. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
You know what, guys? I feel well. Actually, this song was all about the Super Ability Crew, which is literally what our group is all about. If you ever have the time, make sure to check out superabilitycrew.com to learn more about Super Ability Crew. We have reached the end of our SOS podcast. Wait, our SOS podcast? My brain got confused here. I thought this is SOS. This is actually Youth Connect. My brain got confused, guys. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me in this episode of Dragon Ball Z. No, I'm just joking with you guys. But this has been the end of our episode of Youth Connect. Make sure if you liked Youth Connect, you gotta like, you gotta comment, and you gotta subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Now, guys, I just want to do an important announcement just before we end. It's very important that I want you guys to spend time with your father because it is Father's Day on Sunday. So, you know what? Take Logan's suggestion. Go on for a barbecue, hang out. Stop what you're doing. Cancel all your plans for Sunday. You got to spend time with your father because it's very important. I mean, obviously, guys, let me just say this. He brought you into this world. So it's very important to appreciate him, just like if it was Mother's Day. Anyways, guys, I hope that you had an amazing time watching, learning, and having a lot of fun with us. And one more thing. Next week, we will be not having Youth Connect. So just so you guys know, next week there will be no Youth Connect. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy Make sure to spend some time with your father and enjoy Father's Day. And we will see you all next time. Thank you so much, Jeff, Joshua, Kevin, and Logan, and for our listeners. And we will see you all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Catch you